In this video, we'll talk about the version 17 Audit Trails and StatFolio passwords. Audit Trails trace the creation and modification of StatFolios, which are the main Statgraphics document. They record the username and computer name whenever any changes are made to a StatFolio. Audit Trails may be used to demonstrate that a validated StatFolio has not been changed. StatFolio passwords prevent unauthorized users from making changes to a StatFolio. Users who did not create the StatFolio may be locked out completely, given read-only access, or allocated specific privileges. To show you how it works, I'm going to create a typical StatFolio. I'll start by going to the File menu and open up a data source. I'll open an external data file. It'll be an Excel worksheet, and when I browse, I'll find one called Process Data, which I'll open into the data sheet. Now I'll create a typical analysis. I'll go to the top menu and select SPC, Capability Analysis, Variables, Individuals Data. This will create a process capability analysis. The data I want to analyze are in strength. They're identified by date. The lower specification limit is 175. The nominal or target value is 200, and the upper specification limit is 250. When I press OK, I'll be offered various distributions upon which to base this capability analysis. I've looked at the data enough to know that the largest extreme value distribution is a good one. When it gives me a choice of tables and graphs to create, I'll select the analysis summary, capability indices, a capability plot, and also a tolerance chart. I'll then press OK, which will create the analysis window. I'm going to make one more change to the analysis, and that is in the table of capability indices. I'll double-click to enlarge the table, then press the right mouse button and select Pane Options. What I'd like to do is add one more capability index to my display, in this case a z-score. It will be the minimum z-score between the two for the upper spec and the lower spec. Now I've got the analysis window that I want. In a moment, I'm going to save this StatFolio away so I can use it again tomorrow or at some time in the future. Before I do that, though, I'll select Edit, StatFolio Properties. The StatFolio Properties window is where I can assign passwords. I can assign a password for myself, the owner of the StatFolio, and I'll type one in here. If I type in that password when I load the StatFolio, I'll be able to open it with full privileges. I'm also going to set a password for other users besides myself. That'll be a different password than I allocated for me. I could give them read-only privileges, but I think I'll give them custom privileges. I think I'll let them select other tables and graphs if they want to, and I'll also let them edit the Stat Reporter and the Stat Gallery so they can copy these tables and graphs to reports that they might like to print. I'll then press OK, and it will set those values for this StatFolio. The last thing I'll do is save the StatFolio. I'll do that by going to File, Save As, Save StatFolio As. I'll give it the name Process Capability and press Save to store it on disk. Let's now clear the Statgraphics window by selecting File, New. This will delete all of the analyses from the session and empty the datasheet. To reopen the StatFolio I just saved, I'll select File, Open StatFolio. I'll select the Process Capability Analysis StatFolio and press Open. It will now request the StatFolio password. I can enter either the owner password and get full access, or the user password and get limited access. When I press OK, the StatFolio will open up. It will reread the Excel file and recalculate the process capability analysis on whatever data it finds in that file. To demonstrate that I haven't changed the StatFolio since it was saved, I'll go to File, Display Audit Trail. This will bring up a window displaying the history of this StatFolio. The StatFolio was created on a computer called SGDev8 laptop by the user SGDev8 on 10/20 at 3:16 p.m. At 3:17, a data file was opened named processdata.xls. A process capability analysis was created also at 3:17, and modifications were made to that process capability analysis. The StatFolio was then saved on the same computer at 3:18. 1 minute later at 3:19, I reloaded the StatFolio, also using the same computer. Since it's been loaded, there have been no modifications made to any of the data sheets or to any of the analyses. Incidentally, you can add comments to the audit trail by pushing the button labeled Annotate. If you type in some text, like Neil created this StatFolio for a video, and push OK, the comment will be saved with the StatFolio as part of the audit trail. You'll find the audit trail and the StatFolio passwords very helpful if you work with regulatory authorities.